A $60 bag of premium lawn food and a $2 scoop of plain nitrogen will turn your grass the exact same shade of deep green. One of them has a coating and a logo on the front. Your lawn cannot read the logo. It has no idea what brand fed it. It responds to one element, and that element costs almost nothing when you buy it by the name the farmers use instead of the name the garden center prints on the bag. Here is what you walk away with today. The single powder that greens a lawn is dark as any premium product for a fraction of the price. The exact application rate, and the one step in between that decides whether it feeds your grass or scorches it brown in an afternoon. And the most popular homemade lawn trick on the internet, the one half your neighbors swear by, that does nothing for your grass, and I'll show you exactly why with the chemistry. Grass wants nitrogen. That's the whole secret the premium bag is built around. Of the 3 numbers printed on every fertilizer bag, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen is the one that drives the green in the growth. Phosphorus feeds roots and seed. Potassium handles stress and disease, but the color, the thickness, the lush look you're actually paying for, that's nitrogen and almost nothing else. A lawn that looks hungry is a lawn that's short on nitrogen. Feed the nitrogen, the green comes back. That part isn't complicated, and it's the part the marketing quietly agrees with. So the only real question is, what's the cheapest way to put nitrogen on the ground? And the answer has been sitting in farm supply stores the entire time. Ammonium sulfate. The bag reads 21, 0, 0, 21% nitrogen, and a bonus 24% sulfur riding along with it. The 50-pound bag runs around $26 at a farm or feed store, and that single bag covers 10,000 square feet at the standard feeding rate. Do the math on a normal suburban lawn, and you're spending roughly $2 to feed 1,000 square feet of grass. The same patch fed with a premium branded bag costs you 15, 20, sometimes more. Identical nitrogen, identical green. The grass cannot tell the difference because chemically there is no difference to tell. So what's the extra money buying? It's a fair question, and the honest answer isn't a scam, it's a coating. Premium bags use slow-release nitrogen. The granules are wrapped in a polymer or sulfur shell that dissolves gradually so the feeding spreads out over 6 or 8 weeks instead of hitting all at once. That's a genuine convenience. It means you can be careless and still not burn your lawn. What you're paying the premium for is forgiveness, the freedom to not pay attention. Ammonium sulfate is quick release. It's raw, it's fast, it greens hard within days, and it asks one thing of you in return for the savings, that you follow a single rule when you put it down. Skip that rule and the cheap bag punishes you. Follow it, and you fed your lawn for $2 and pocketed the rest. Before I give you that rule, let me kill the myth, because if you've searched this topic, you've already been told the wrong answer. Epsom salt. Every homemade lawn recipe online tells you to dissolve Epsom salt in a sprayer and soak your lawn for a deep green. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and here's the chemistry the recipe leaves out. Magnesium only greens a lawn that is actually deficient in magnesium, and almost no lawn is. Every major university extension office, Michigan State, North Dakota State, Washington State, has tested this and landed on the same finding. If your soil already has enough magnesium, and it almost certainly does, adding more does absolutely nothing for the color. Worse, magnesium and calcium compete for uptake in the soil. Pile on excess magnesium, and you can actually block the calcium your grass needs. The Epsom salt trick feels scientific because it involves a powder and a sprayer. It just happens to be feeding a deficiency your lawn doesn't have. Save it for your sore feet. It was never going to green your grass. Now the rule that makes the cheap powder work. Water it in. Immediately. Ammonium sulfate has what's called a high salt index. A 69 on that scale, which is high enough that if you spread it on a dry lawn and walk away, the granules pull moisture straight out of the grass blades and leave you with brown burn streaks within a day. That's the entire reason people fear cheap nitrogen. They didn't water it in. So you spread it, then you water it deep within the hour. A good soaking, enough to carry the granules down off the blades and into the soil where the roots can take it up. Do that, and there's no burn, just the green. Skip it on a hot afternoon, and you'll see exactly why the premium bag sells forgiveness. The rate is half a pound per 100 square feet, which works out to about 5 pounds across 1,000. Spread it as evenly as you can. A cheap handheld spreader is plenty, because ammonium sulfate greens so fast that any uneven streak shows up as a dark stripe a week later. Even, light, watered in. That's the whole method. Once in early summer, again in late summer, and your lawn never knows it wasn't fed from a $60 bag. Here's the part that turns the savings into something better than the premium product. That sulfur riding along in the bag, the 24% nobody talks about, is doing a second job for free. Sulfur gently lowers soil pH, Most struggling lawns, especially in hard water regions, sit slightly too alkaline. And in alkaline soil, grass physically can't absorb the iron that drives deep color, no matter how much you feed it. The sulfur in ammonium sulfate nudges that pH back down over a season, which unlocks the iron that's already in your soil. So the cheap powder doesn't just match the premium bag. Over a couple of seasons, it fixes a problem the premium bag charges extra to address with added iron. You're getting the nitrogen and a slow soil correction in the same $2 scoop. One more, because it pairs with this, and it's nearly free. If you want to push the color even further, mix in a cup of plain blackstrap molasses with the water you're soaking it in, not for the grass, for what lives under it. The sugar in molasses is pure carbon, and carbon is food for the soil bacteria that break down nitrogen into the form roots actually drink. A well-fed microbe population cycles your nitrogen faster and holds it in the soil instead of letting it wash away in the next rain. The catch is honest. This only works if the microbes are already there, and in most established lawns they are. It won't replace the nitrogen. It makes the nitrogen you just paid $2 for go further and last longer. A jug of molasses costs a few dollars and lasts you a whole season of feedings. That's the system. Ammonium sulfate for the nitrogen and the green. Watered in hard so it feeds instead of burns. The sulfur quietly correcting your pH while it works. A splash of molasses to feed the soil that feeds the grass. The deepest lawn on the street fed for the price of a coffee, while the bag that promised the same thing sits on the shelf asking 30 times more for a coating you don't need. Share this with the one neighbor who still hauls home the heavy bag every spring, and I'll see you in the next one.